Going live. Hello, everyone, and we're live.
I had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die?" Yo, reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Oh, hell. Welcome to UFO Undercover. I hope everyone's having a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, wherever you are on our big, beautiful blue planet called Earth or Terra or Sol, which it doesn't matter to me, whatever you want to call it. I'm
Very
sure.
original name. We called our planet Dirt.
I'm kind of curious. What do other aliens call our planet? Block 91, Curve 72. What do you mean, Jack? No, I mean, really. I mean, we don't know what an alien calls Earth. Did we get Earth from there? Did we get Terra from there?
I'm just guessing based on how we have names for stuff that we didn't know was there. Particularly some of the newer ones like Zeta Reticuli 1, 2, and 3. And, it's ironic that there's a lot of things out there that have hour numbers and like M's and, different designations like that. But there are star systems that have, bizarre names. The stars in Orion's belt, Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. You look at the 3 pyramids on the Earth, you got Cheops, Khafre, and Menkaure. The parallels are like, even the Egyptians knew that those names were, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's
So who named those stars? It wasn't us. So
well,
that's a curious question, because I would say they call it Sol 3, and Sol 3A.
No, that's what we call it. They probably have a whole different name for we don't even know what they call our solar system. And do they consider what planets and what don't? Maybe for them, if you're not living on a 3G planet, it's not a real planet. Maybe it's like Pluto. It's a subplanet.
Well, the Urantia book, which is, wholly just, I think, fictional BS, but the way that it talks about the creation of it, it's like it was specifically designed for our species by the people of that book. But I think for the most part, that book has been wholly, at least for the most part, debunked for the meantime.
Yeah, it's that's the problem with anything these days. It's too easy to debunk stuff that it's just hard. Stuff that you would think anyway that's legit.
Hey,
you just
Christy,
don't always know if it's going to work out that way. If it's going to be real or not. And why am I not seeing? Oh, okay. I was going to say that's something weird going on with Rumble today, man. I was kind of about to freak out on their butts. Kirby, no, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, we got a little time to talk about it tonight. Well, problem was Jay got such a big mouth, we ran out of time last. I kept telling him, "Shut up, Jay." Jay just fucking wouldn't listen. Ooh, beep, beep, beep. Instead of all kind of.
Oh, and we both even said that when we got to the Betty Barney Hill thing, we'd probably anyway.
Yeah, we already knew where that was going to go. So, some of the stuff we already had a good idea where it was going to take us. For anybody who's going to look tonight, I actually supplied the links in the YouTube. Well, if you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble and any of those feeds like that, I actually included the link so you'll see what pages we're on tonight. Give you a better idea what we're talking about. We got to remember something. Just because something's written on Wikipedia or written on anything for the internet, for that matter, doesn't always mean we're going to agree with it. Because not everything is correct, and I hear a lot of misinformation. I don't want to call it disinformation. Misinformation is accidental stuff. Disinformation is intentional. I don't always think that everything is intentional. Sometimes I just think it's people who don't have an education. Put this in perspective. This couple the other day calls me up about this thing going on in their life. And we're talking. And they've been in the field all of about 3 years, I think. Maybe 4. Probably 3. Maybe even less. I don't know. It's not very long. So they start proceeding to tell me how things work and how things are going on and how much they understand and how much they know. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, shit. So I'm just letting them talk because you never know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth. And I'm interested in the case. There may be something good there, some hardcore information, something along those lines. Well, hey, Christy and Mish, sorry, I couldn't see the chat. There may be something along those lines, but in reality, oh shit, I forgot where I was going with that. Damn, I'm sorry, guys. My brain went off. No, I had a particular direction I wanted to go in.
We do that frequently on this show, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, well, people just want to tell you they understand something when they've been in the field 3 years. I've been in the field 43 years. That means I have 40 years experience. And not just that, I have a effing team of experts that do this, that look for shit for me all the time, do research for me, babysit me, do all sorts of wonderful stuff. And on top of that, I've talked to everybody who's ever been anybody in the frickin' field at least a dozen times. And that's including visitors. I'm sorry. Well, we'll go there later. But oh man. Well, that's not quite what I meant, but the thing of it is when people tell us about their visitation or things they've seen or things they've been in contact with, all that information gets assimilated, and people go over it. So when you're one person or two people, you do know some stuff, but compared to an organization, really, what do you know? Now you could say, oh, if you use MUFON as an example, well, maybe you know more than MUFON does, at least some of MUFON anyway. Problem with MUFON is it's never been a steady thing. It's nobody knows what happened to all of Walt Anders' documentation. All his information went the way of the dodo bird. Probably some black ops group picked it up, just tossed it. I wouldn't doubt I got burned from somebody's little pile somewhere one night. And then, you had people like John Schleusler, who he wasn't necessarily black ops. He just worked for black ops. Yes. He was a contractor who was black ops. Yes. And then there was James Carrion. And he was, if I remember right, he was a decoder for black ops. And I can't remember Chunky Boy, which I like the guy. I can't think of his name right off the bat. He was also in black ops. Now, the current guy, I don't know. I haven't talked to. I haven't even looked him up to see who he is. But the other four all had ties with black ops. So MUFON's been an infiltrated organization for a long, long time. And then it's bad when Bigelow comes in and says, look, I will give you money to bring me evidence and to bring me technology. So they give him money. What does MUFON do? They all start hopping on planes, flying around first class, buying all kind of expensive equipment. Did they get any evidence? So Bigelow pulled the plug. Because, you're an investigator. You don't need to be flying first class or business class. From here to LA, business class is $2,000. From here to LA, Echo class is $200. Sorry, guys. You could fly somewhere in between, maybe I forgot what they call it. It's not economy. It's one step above economy. It'll cost you about $500, but you can't expect Bigelow to be
depending on the airline. It's like economy plus, or business plus. Yeah, they've got.
But I mean, the thing of it is, you can't expect Bigelow, whether he's a millionaire or not. It's not his job to fly all around first class. You're investigators. You're supposed to be there in the field in the rough, finding things. Give the man something, and maybe he'll bump you up. I mean, he was paying James Cameron, I think, $30,000 a year to oversee it all. James gave him his money back because James knew where this was going to go. He knew people would abuse it, and that's what people did. They abused it. If MUFON would have been producing anything or just showing that they were on to something, Bigelow would have kept funding it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, he wasn't just looking for eyewitness and ear witness testimony. He wanted hard evidence, like, he
wanted technology.
Laser guns that they pulled off of it, or technology that they
and
grabbed
while we're
out
on
of
the subject,
drawer.
so if you're holding on to alien technology out there and you want to be a millionaire, contact Elon's Musk people. He's had an ongoing thing for alien technology for a long, long time. And it starts at 10 million and goes upward. Yeah. So if you've got something, it's maybe some kind of shielding something, he might give you $100 million for it. A piece of action, as far as you know. Bigelow wouldn't give you much money because he's not got as much money. But he's a nice guy. I met him on a couple of occasions. He probably doesn't remember me from squad, but probably because they like to wipe your memory. No, I'm just teasing. What do you mean, who am I? I'm Joe. I'm not in the field. I'm not a UFO researcher. I'm an experiencer chaser. I don't know whatever you want to call it. Because you can't get to the truth chasing lights in the sky. And you just can't. It's not going to lead you to the truth. Most of the time, it's going to lead you to, it wasn't. Oh, and while we're on that subject, y'all remember the drones flying all over New Jersey and all? Company came out and took credit for it just yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Special military drone. Testing.
Yeah, I told you.
Military. Oh, I got it for Friday. It should be on Facebook. I shared it to my Facebook page for Friday. If I could, I might even go look and see where it's at. Maybe we'll play it in here. But oh yes, people, pretty badass looking, kind of strange looking little drone. To be not little, it's actually a fairly decent sized drone. And the government didn't know anything about it, but it was a test for the government. They were testing them so the government could see them in action in the field. That's what it was about.
Yeah, and there was like no government reaction whatsoever. I mean, how long did it take for the first responders to get there? 30, 40 minutes after the first initial reports?
Shit, no. At the first initial reports, nobody went. It was like 3 weeks later or something.
There was no reaction. my first initial guess is
Like,
whoever's operating those things is that they're testing the infrastructure and see how fast first response is.
I
There wasn't any.
it was sad, people.
Yeah.
Well, because you got to watch. You never know when another country's testing us to see. You know, we know China and Russia push us. Russia does way more than even China does. China pushes us, but not like Russia does. Russia's constantly flying into airspace and shit.
Well, yeah, they've interfered 3 times in NATO airspace in the past months.
Yeah. Now. Oh no, Christopher, you mean no? So if a bomber flies into NATO airspace, they're going to shoot it down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh hell yes, they're going to shoot it down.
Because if they send a bomber, it's not going to be just a bomber. It's going to have a flotilla of planes, fighter planes to protect it.
No, maybe not, because I noticed something. Now the U.S. is a little bit different than everybody else, but the U.S. has started this thing they did a couple of years ago. You know, we only sent 1 bomber to Iran. Everybody said we sent 3, but they said the other day I was watching a report again. They said 1.
Well, the F-117 can also function as a bomber too. It can drop 1 500-pounder, so that's not too bad.
But I mean, but this is the B-2. This is this is the thing that's supposed to be able to drop nuclear weapons and stuff. So
yeah,
it loaded up on its way over. Fueled up on its way over. I think they said twice. When it got there, it got fighter air support.
Do they fly from North Dakota or do they fly from Nevada?
I don't know where this one came from. They said too, it was like in the heartland somewhere, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It sounded like somewhere you couldn't get to it, and if you were trying to be like an enemy flying over there or something. But when it got close to the Middle East, it was met with stealth support. They said F-22s. We don't have any F-22s overseas. So there had to be F-35s. Because according to our government, we only have 186 of them. And even the government just put this out 2 days ago. The F-22 is the much better aircraft than the F-35.
Yeah.
So now I understand better. We didn't quit making the F-22 because it was so badass. I mean, part of it is because we didn't want the technology to get leaked out. So I kind of understand that part. But I mean, I can understand they don't want to leak. Hey, Lee, I can understand they don't want to leak that F-22 technology.
But how much are they a pop? I mean, they're like,
no, they weren't. It wasn't much more than F-35, I don't think.
But it was still billions of dollars. It's like $1 billion.
No. You want to know what the difference is? Why? There's 2 reasons why they don't have the F-22, not mass producing it. One, the technology wasn't too great to let anybody, even our allies, get hold to. So that meant that we couldn't sell it overseas, which meant in turn we had to build the airplane that we could. Currently right now we have 1,400 orders for the F-35.
Wow.
That's not for us. That's overseas people. That's how many orders we got for the thing. So just think if that was the case, we'd be releasing that many F-22s on the world. China would crap itself.
I mean, we're selling those to foreign militaries who will put their own weapons within those weapons bays. We're not selling the weapon too.
No, we're selling everything.
Oh, are we selling weapons as well? Wow.
Yeah, well, because they're allies. The UN, we sell everything to. I'm sorry. And NATO, we sell everything to. We don't hold back. Matter of fact, we even got nukes deployed in the EU.
Well, yeah, of course, but they're under our control. It's not like the EU, not like Mark Rutte can go, all right, fire.
I'm confused. No. Well, during Germany, this is what scares me. So, Germans are pretty good hackers. Let's just be honest about it. Now, they're German crews that run the missiles, last I heard, but supposedly, and this is big, supposedly, we have the codes.
Yes.
You can't launch them without our codes. Some kind of release thing. And then one of our allies found out that we put kill switches in the F-35 that we sell overseas. I don't know. But, I guess if you can't, you don't trust your allies, I guess that's what you're going to do. Put in kill switches.
Well, it's also, it's not a bad idea. Think about it. What if they did turn on us? They know that they can't. We can turn them off if they come at us, unless they actively seek it out, try to disable it, and that might disable the entire aircraft. So, but the good thing about that is that if they're ever hijacked, and you look, how many planes are they be building? 4,000?
No, 1,400 right now. I don't even know how many are out there. Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that. 1,400 in, less than U.S. military hands, someone's going to get a hold of it. A bad guy's going to get a hold of it. And that way, if the bad guy comes at us, we can go click, and sorry, he falls out of the air and dies.
He's flying in. Well, what happened to it? We clicked the switch. That's what happened. No, actually, the Europeans didn't bitch. I thought they were going to be up in an uproar, but they didn't bitch. They were like, well, whatever. We might have gave the Europeans a code, though. I mean, as far as the EU goes, we're pretty tight with the EU. So, and we want to stay militarily tight with them. And well, no, Chris, actually, you must be reading my mind. I was just getting ready to say that. So, oh man, you see, making me have to get off the other computer. I had Pal Talk opened it on it. But anyway, it makes me think about Rendlesham, because Rendlesham was such an interesting case with things buzzing around in the sky. And one of the things I never understood about Rendlesham is why weren't assets deployed? And I'm not talking about troops on the ground. I'm talking about real assets. What were we flying back then? F-18s, F-14s, something like that?
At least, yeah. It would have had at least F-15s, F-16s, at least one of those three. And plus, it was also a joint. There were two bases there. One is the U.S., one is UK, and they're both Air Force related. So
it's a joint strike base is what it was. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So the Brits had their own whatever. They probably had some Harrier jump jets. I guarantee you.
They call them torpedoes or I can't remember the name of them now, but they had a couple of those over there.
Regardless, there were fighter craft available.
Well, there's always going to be fighters around a nuclear base because it's got nukes.
But I mean, it seems that nobody. You're right. I mean, there were no reports of any aircraft launched, although there are reports of 1, 2, 3, or more lenticular-shaped craft shining lights and or electronic beams at the nuclear storehouses.
So, you said that about the light made me think about something. The other day, I seen a report from an F-22 pilot, training pilot, actually. They were teaching how to come out of a flat spin in an F-22. And technically, you have to force an F-22 into a flat spin. It won't go on its own.
Yeah.
It self-corrects itself. You're like doing the guy's like, well, let me show you anyway, just in case something goes haywire. But he said, so he pushed it all over and he tilted and got it to start to twist. And he let go of the stick. And the damn plane just straightened itself right out. He's like, man, he said it was like one of those, so when they first came out with front wheel drive cars, if you went all the way to one side with pass through, you could let it go. It'd come back on its own. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, they don't do that anymore. They used to do that, but they don't do that anymore. Yeah, if you had a car from like 90 and below and your wheel was all the way cut to the right and you let it go, it would come back on its own. It would spin backwards on its own. Don't ask me. They don't do it now, though. I can tell you that. Well, they said it was just front wheel drive cars. Honestly, I don't remember. It was so long ago that everything's front wheel drive now.
Just about. But I mean, I think you're right. With a rack and pinion steering, it would right itself to center steering, unless you had a slight alignment problem that might only be a little left or a little right. But yeah, it'll center itself.
Oh, we lost Leah again. Hopefully she'll be back.
She's driving, so she's probably in and out of cell service. The
aliens have gotten her.
Yeah,
they have taken her to Lily land. Leah, like, what do you mean, Leah? Oh, you're talking about purple hair girl with the one eye in the middle. Leela from the hell's that stupid cartoon called? Back to the Future? No, that ain't it. Futurama. That's what you're talking about. Futurama. Last I seen, there was 14 seasons of Futurama. It's probably still going strong. It's
made by the same guy that does The Simpsons. And The Simpsons are on like season 30 or something like that. So
a lot of these cartoons for adults take off. I remember Mom said, "You can't watch that. You're an adult." I'm like, "Mom, these are adult cartoons. No such thing." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah.
So I got to pull up my list in a minute. I forgot where we were last week on sightings. I think we only had 2 left on the list, though. But
yeah,
I know we had talked about Rendlesham, and there was something else we hadn't talked about.
Well, I had the banner up, and someone I guess eventually deleted it. But if we had I had left the old banner up just so we could use it again, but it's not there anymore.
So. Dogs. Yeah, when we got there today, there wasn't any banners, which was
But
odd.
yeah, I'm pretty sure
well,
we talked.
there's usually always somebody's got a banner up in the thing. That was kind of weird, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of Jeffrey Mo. Where are you from, Jeffrey Mo? Because I don't recognize you on my messenger list. Where? Oh, Burbanks, Alaska. For some reason, I thought you meant California. No, I know where Burbanks is. Yeah. I was thinking it was in California when you said it there. Anyway, what do you got for us? I have not personally seen, but I have seen many video clips of things flying over Alaska. Well, there's nothing out there. I mean, 80% of the state is empty of people anyway.
And the other 80% of it is almost inaccessible by people.
I mean, there's just nothing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sightings. Well, one of my favorite ones is where the whip facility, where the HARP facility is in Alaska. They have a motorbike race there on the ice. So yeah, they put a ski in the front and they put these spiky tires on the back, and it's a motorcycle race. It's legit, and they have it up there every year. It's something to do with the Aurora Borealis. They like to go. It's a certain time of year they go. It's actually quite beautiful from what they've seen. But they say every year they have sightings that come out. And they've noticed stuff out by the dishes, sometimes things hovering above the dishes. Well, the HARP facility is kind of like Pine Gap. It's a crap load of dishes. And not all the dishes are the same thing. You think, oh, well, they're all radio telescopes. No, they got different assignments. It's not like the big array in the desert, you know. And well, no, you can do different assignments with different telescopes, yes. You only need all 40 or 50 of them when you're doing a particular thing, but they can be given individual assignments. Yes. You don't remember, was that TV movie? I mean, that movie Communion with Jodie Foster. Yes, they can be given. I only use that because that's the easiest thing for people to realize. They do it in that movie. That's why I brought it up. Or if you ever seen the original movie Arrival, they do it in that movie as well. Yeah. So there's a couple movies where you can see where they do it, but I mean, it's not important. I mean, it's just something they do. So they can focus a dish on this or focus a dish on that. Some people want the whole array so they can do, you know, like SETI. SETI wants the whole damn array so SETI can scan all as much of the sky as they can at one point. Well, Webb keeps finding people. What are you talking about? Webb has pretty much proved the existence of life other than us. Oh yeah, and even NASA the other day pretty much said on that 2G or 3G planet, wherever it was, they're pretty much saying not only is there life there, but they're pretty sure that it's at least at our evolutions are higher.
Which planet is this?
That's the one where they found all the hydrocarbons in the atmosphere.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, because the type of hydrocarbons they're talking about is produced by fossil fuels and stuff. Yeah, it's not naturally occurring. Not at that mass anyway, no. There was that one, and then they found the one with the, what do they call them, little things in the atmosphere and in the air and in the, it's
hydrofluorocarbon or chlorofluorocarbons.
No, that was another planet. So the thing of it is, guys, that's probably, they come and go because the media picks them up and they talk about them for a while, and then they kind of disappear and then they come back. But Webb is last link I had looked at, which a couple of days now, had 5 planets listed with possible life. The word possible is important. Well, until we go land there, we can just guess. Well, the first one or the second one, whichever one was the one where it had shot through the atmosphere the first time, and they thought they had really truly found an industrial society. That's how it was reported. And then they shot through it again and pretty much found the same thing, but in a reduced capacity. Now you have to remember something. You know, it takes a little while for that to get back and forth. You know, the way it's traveling. You mean if it was bouncing? No, if it was bouncing, it would take like 8 years. You know, what Vegas, Proxima's 4 light years out. And I think I don't remember Vega being really, really far, but it's out there. Well, So did you know we had a planetoid named Vega or Vegas? Yeah, it's out there with that one named Sirius. Yes.
Series.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it that, because there's a Sirius star, and then there's they're not spelled the same, but they're pronounced the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a planetoid. No, let's not be naming things the same things, people. Come on. Give it a different name. There's trillions of names.
There's
there.
also those videos from the 50s where they're interviewing those people in Las Vegas out in the desert with there was like a UFO rally or whatever. And the one guy mentions that rock in the I think it's in the asteroid belt that's named Vega or Vegas.
Yeah, they're both in the asteroid belt, both of them. That's the second largest one, and then Sirius is the first largest one. It's considered a planet, protoplanet.
Protoplanet or dwarf planet, yeah.
Because it has so at one time it had a brine sea that was active. They're pretty sure where some of the life in the solar system came from. So what may have happened is it's older than Mars. So Mars, the building blocks from there went to Mars and created Mars, and the ones on Mars came here and created us. And more scientists are following in line with that. I've been saying for 4 decades that at least some of our ancestry comes from Mars because of certain habits we have. But
so it's looking like whatever blew up the 5th planet, it splashed onto Mars and created life. And then whatever blew up Mars splashed onto Earth.
No, more than likely, it's serious. This little protoplanet probably would spawn life on the 5th planet, on the 4th planet, probably spawn life on both, because it's the one. They said that it was how do they say it? It's engulfs the entire planet, the brine sea, and they said it was probably full of life. They think even today it may be still producing life of some sort. How it gets to that, don't ask me, people. All this stuff was going on before we were even a thought.
Yeah.
Yes, we weren't even a thought. What do you mean? Even in the creator's mind, we weren't a thought. I mean, this was billions of years ago we're talking about. And
we have no idea when the planet was exploded.
And as far as we know, these chunks we're talking about are part of that 5th planet that was exploded. We just don't know. Well, they think that all the stuff in the asteroid belt is in the old days, it was a planet that didn't form.
An unformed planet. Yeah.
And then recently, because of some metals and some other stuff they found, they seem to think, it was probably a planet about 5 times the size of Earth, which, by the way, is what they said Planet X was 5 times the size of Earth. And if there was a rogue planet that had been cruising through our solar system, sooner or later, you can bet your ass Jupiter got hold to it. And it got itself in between Mars and Jupiter in orbit and got crushed. Or somebody blew it up. There's no real way of knowing because none of us were around back then. I'm sure one day we'll have the answers, but not right now. We don't. But there does seem to be life involved in this. And this just tells you something. If there was one little planetoid in our solar system that was producing life and it's created life in 3 or 4 planetoids and planets in our solar system, just think about other solar systems possessing the same things. I mean, the amount of life in the universe is going to be immense.
And let's not forget, there's 431 natural satellites, moons, on the planets going around our sun. 431 large. Most of them are larger than the planet Earth and could be, planet-sized. Life-bearing planets. 431 of them. So that's on average 400 planets, possibilities for planets with life on them in 1 trillion solar systems within our galaxy. There's no way we're alone. There's so much life.
It's I would bet you we're going to find, well, Janine, doesn't mean we're going to find intelligent life in every solar system.
Yeah,
but if there's planets in the solar system, we're going to probably find life. And remember this. So this other planet we were talking about, we were getting ready to talk about, they found this planet orbiting a red dwarf. Red dwarfs have a 70 to 80 billion year lifespan. Our sun only has 10. It's dead in 5 billion years. This thing has 70 billion plus years of life. That means any planet orbiting it the people there could be so advanced. It's just not even funny. And it's a stable environment. It's not like here. We've got all this chaos all over our soul. It's not like that there. It's different. And they definitely found the building blocks of life. They're pretty sure that they're going to find life on that planet. Well, it's much closer to its sun. And what did they say? Its orbit is like 4 days or something. It's years 4 or 12 days or some shit like that. I know. Well, if you're 10 years old, you'd be, I don't know, 120. You know, come to Earth. Oh, I'm 10,000 years old. Heidi Lou. There's just so much stuff out there. Oh, don't get me started on 3i Atlas. I'm actually tired of hearing about 3i Atlas. Until a bitch does something, I'm like, it's leaving. It's leaving. Last I heard, it was leaving. Well, people keep telling me, people keep, oh, it's headed for Earth. Well, who? I ain't seen that. No military or NASA said that. No government has said it's headed for Earth.
Well, okay. Although NASA has stated unequivocally that it's not headed for Earth, I still don't believe them. But all the other scientists, I do.
Yeah, well, can't hate on you for that. But you know, NASA's had its issues over the years. Juicy.
Yeah, NASA NASA stands for never a straight answer.
It's pretty true too. You know, Jesse, there could be aliens on any planet in our system. And look, and if you've got advanced technology, you could have a big base sitting right inside the clouds of Jupiter or Saturn or Neptune or Uranus. No, Jackie. Neptune's the furthest planet out. Pluto used to be there.
Pluto used to be.
And technically, it wasn't always, by the way. Sometimes Pluto's
here's the thing that's going to get everybody's mind. This will get your minds going. We are going to discover life in our galaxy, but we're going to find it in our solar system first.
Oh, yeah, we're going to find our solar system for sure. I bet you money they've already found life on Mars. NASA keeps pushing itself closer and closer.
Or the ice moon with the underwater, frozen over.
Yeah, but we're not going to get there for a while yet. We'll be on NASA within less than a decade.
Oh, we've already flown by it, dude.
No, we've landed there. The one with the thing where they seen the thing we dropped the probe down on top of it a while back.
That was like that was the Cassini probe, wasn't it? Saturn?
Was it? I don't know. Whatever it was, they kind of freaked out because it looked like in one of the shots, it looked like something big and black. You could tell it was liquid water because whatever this thing was moving, and it kind of arched and went back down. It looked like a freaking whale is what it looked like.
I think that's the Cassini probe.
And I ain't making that shit up, people. That was what they nobody ever said it was life. They tried to say maybe some kind of underwater black iceberg floating around or some shit or something else that was floating, something on the planet that floats that we don't know about. They're pretty sure the whole planet is
reflected off of Neptune at the middle of the night.
Which they're pretty sure the whole planet is water. It's not just the only. There's several planets they think are all water. And get this, there's actually liquid water on Pluto. Real water, not hydrogen water or not hydrogen, whatever they call it. Real water. Certain times they found a place on one of the scans where you could actually see where it had been running. And then when they shot the ice, they realized that it was water ice, not carbon ice. So every now and then they think it's something from underground heats it up and causes it to melt.
Yeah, they think Pluto is
sure the hell ain't the sun.
Geothermally active.
Yeah. Well, Charon's just like a baby version of Pluto, and Pluto is just a baby version of everything else. It's a baby version of Mercury. Does Mercury spin or is it tidal locked?
I don't know. Hey, Google, is planet Mercury tidally locked or does it spin?
On the website iki.rssi.ru, they say, although Mercury is not tidally locked to the sun, its rotational period is tidally coupled to its orbital period. Mercury rotates 1.5 times during each orbit.
Huh. So it's like, yeah, it just barely. Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah. No, I was just curious, Jesse. Somebody had said something about it, about how if you were at the equator, you could survive. I'm not going to find out. I tell you that. Yeah, you can volunteer, Jay. I ain't going to Mercury. Hell with you people. Yeah, it would be really cool sitting on a mountain looking at the sun like, You couldn't. Do you realize if you were sitting on Mercury, you couldn't see the edges of the sun? You couldn't. You'd be just looking at it, going, "Where the hell's this thing end at?"
Yeah, when is it going to be nighttime? It is nighttime.
No, yeah, we do have 2 moons, just till 2083 though, and then the other one's going to leave.
What?
Yeah, we got 2 moons. You didn't know that? Yeah, we.
How do we have 2 moons?
They found it a couple of months back. Some big asteroid thing got locked in with us, but it's only here to 2083. Then it's leaving. I don't know if you can see. I didn't read that far, to be honest with you. I didn't. Ask Google how big the new moon is.
Hey Google, how big is the new moon?
Just going to give you some stupid
I don't
answer.
know the answer to that specific question, but according to GulfNews.com, now let's talk about the new moon, which is quite different from the lunar body we've known. It is something called a quasi-moon. This celestial body is a traveling companion moving in sync with the Earth. Named 2025 Peta Newton 7, the asteroid-like structure is only about 18 to 36 meters wide.
Okay,
wow, we actually have a moon, a new moon.
Yeah, yes. It's a rock 36 meters wide, people. It's not even a real asteroid. I mean, it's a rock.
Yeah, even Google said it was an asteroid-like structure.
Yes. It's a rock. Damn, sorry, people. Mm-hmm.
It's a rock floating in space.
Well, I don't know. We may have to do part 3 next week because we ain't even got into the alien stuff. I mean, into the UFO stuff, and it's already 7 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock where Jay lives.
Yes, it is.
Carrie, you know what? Ask me the question now, but you're not going to get an answer until Friday or Saturday. What is the best sandwich? What's the best sandwich bread and what's the best sandwich meat? What kind of makes the best sandwich? I'll tell you what, we'll take it on probably Saturday because we can really get into it in depth on Saturday. Oh, I can think of 4 sandwiches right off the bat, but can't talk about them on this show. Sorry to say. Yeah. Even though one is shaped like a UFO, though. One is or like a flying saucer. Yeah,
yes. Food porn Friday and Saturday.
Yes. Well, we got a decent amount of news for Friday, but there's still nothing's really changed. Yes, I will be wearing my crown. Dun, 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 in protest at the protest.
There have been some threats sent out towards the Middle East, but other than that, yeah, really nothing has changed.
And then, some really good stuff about the world leaders talking good about Trump. So I'm sure nobody's going to want to hear that except for Trump supporters and maybe some independents.
And Trump. Trump won't hear.
Hey, Sally, how you doing? Yeah, I bet you want to talk about sandwiches. Look. We do food porn on Saturdays. Sometimes we do it on Friday night late, but Christopher, no, it's not porn. It's food porn. There's no naked nobody in it. There's naked food in it, but there's no naked people in it. No. I know every time because it's talked about so much on so many of the shows that are not this kind of base show. I'll tell you, I can think of some good sandwiches. It's just making me hungry thinking about it is all it's doing. And I still got an hour, so I'll be like starving when I get off this show. Michelle's doing something about stab the devil or something tonight. I don't know. I better go check and see.
Oh, yeah. That sounds interesting.
You know what, Sally? It is probably better than regular porn. Plus, you won't be feeling tired afterwards. What's a Jackie?
Well, that depends. If you eat turkey now, you could get a little.
Oh, that's squirky turkey.
Little tryptophan.
Sorry, she's ready to start cooking. I only eat turkey usually once a year. Every now and then we might grab it as to make buy one to cook till we can make sandwiches out of it. But what happens for us on the holidays, and I think we're doing Christmas at somebody else's house this year, so. They'll cook a turkey and whatever else. Everybody will bring something with them, of course.
It's not. Yeah, she's not stabbing the devil. It's the outer realm, risky business, flirting with the unseen with Nathaniel Gillis.
Oh, Nathaniel's pretty cool. Flirting with the unseen. Now that might be porn. I might want to go check that out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Michelle would never do porn.
Ghost porn.
Yes, it's paranormal porn. There you go. The ghost is doing a striptease. It's my favorite personal UFO sighting was the ones I personally had. I don't care about these other ones. I'm more interested in the ones I've had, man.
Yeah, and the ones I've seen personally are also much more interesting than the ones I've heard, spoken about in second and third and fourth ear, eye, and whatever witness. Personal experience is much more. I mean, seeing Bigfoot 10 feet away, boom.
Okay, all right, Chris. We're going. I don't know if we're going to take a break or not, but Ketchberg, and I still don't think Ketchberg was alien.
It is either a Russian satellite or it was.
Somebody wrecked.
That was the cat jumping into the window, knocking stuff off my printer.
I don't feel bad. Early, I knocked everything.
Yeah,
over.
Kecksburg is either a Russian satellite or the Gluck from World War II coming back into our time frame. What? 30,
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't.
Later.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, it wasn't an extraterrestrial. Mikey, it's funny you bring that up because a couple of days ago, I was watching a special on why we didn't use atomic engines to get into space. Why we still don't use them is a good question.
Why is that? Is it because the extraterrestrials told us not to?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not quite sure because once you're in space, one, it's not hurting anything because space is full of radiation, so it doesn't really matter if your drive is contaminated space behind you because it's already contaminated.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's going to do you any harm. Plus, it's an endless power supply. It's not completely endless, but you can go 10,000 years on just a ball of plutonium about that big. So
yeah, but then you also have to have 10,000 years of a society that can, if you're in a spaceship, it has to be a generational ship where you have at least, Well,
no, I'm not saying you got to drive all the time. I'm just saying that you have a power supply like that, so you can hop in your ship and go anytime that you want to. Just get up and go. Keep it parked in space. Don't bring it back into the atmosphere because it's probably contaminated, and just leave it parked in space when it's not being used. But you could use it to get around, and you could get closest light speeds with things like that. Which that's another problem. Do we want to get until we can break light speed? Do we want to get close to it? Because after about 50% light speed, it's going to really start making a problem for the people in the craft.
Especially if they come back here, it would be like, who are you?
Oh, God help them if they come
50
back
years
here.
ago.
Yeah.
We don't know who you are.
They're going to come back, and if they're like at 99.9% light speed, let's just say they're going, we'll just say 10 light years, and they come back, it's 20 light year round trip, right? 20 years past. Oh, hell no. Probably more like 200 to 2,000 years, probably more like 2,000 years have passed. You'll get back and you'll be like, what? They might not even let you live here because you contaminated weirdo from the past.
Space travel doesn't make sense unless there's a way to break that barrier. And by that barrier, I mean the time barrier, meaning that, and this is what they talk about this in the original run of Star Trek. They don't originally call it, warp speed. They call it the time warp. In the very first episode, the Cage, the very first pilot, it's called time warp. And so we have to be able to make it so where it's like going to the corner store. You can't leave the planet, and go 20 light years and come back 20 light years, and then all of a sudden it's 2,000 years different. It has to be like, bit blep, you spend 20 minutes, is gone. But we're not at that. We don't have that level of physics.
No,
yet.
and I talked with Michio Keiko about this. Oh God, like 14 years ago, and we discussed because he didn't really. I brought up the stepping stone theory in the interview, and he was kind of like, what? And we got into it pretty deep. And he was so weird. He was having such a good time because, he told me, he says, it's rare that I get to do an interview with a host that wants to talk about this kind of stuff and actually understands what they're talking about. I said, yeah. I said, I don't have a PhD, but I do have a bachelor's, my friend, in science. And I've had practical life experience with it as well. But, stepping stones are easy. And we're starting it now. The moon was the first stepping stone.
Well, I mean, how do we how do we break the sound barrier? Stepping stones.
We built an
engine and we got close and it exploded. We built another engine and it exploded, and we kept going until we got it.
So let's this is for all the rookies out there. So 150 years ago, 200 years ago, they invented the locomotive, which did about 8 miles an hour at the time. Remember when they said I mean, remember reading that they had said 20 miles an hour would crush everybody on the train.
The physicians were concerned that the trains going faster than 25 miles an hour, which was the main, like a really good horse would run 25 miles an hour. But so they thought the train was going to go 35, 45, maybe 55 miles an hour. They thought the human body would be crushed by the centrifugal forces. Nope.
And then, of course, as we move forward, you can't go fast as speed of sound, it'll kill you. Can't go 2 times speed, you can't go 5 times faster. And then they just said, okay, you can't go 10 times faster. Well, that was taken care of. So right now, currently, we know we can do about 35 times faster because 1 or 2 of the shuttles came in at Mach 35 and Mach 36.
That's falling speed, but
but it's still going that fast. Still the people inside are having to deal with that.
Screaming hot, too.
and that's in a rock, like Jay just said, with no fuel, any reverse thrusters or anything. There's nothing to slow you down, but friction.
They're strictly ballistic. They are a falling bullet at that point.
Yeah, the friction. That's why they had to keep the thing so they could. Man, they like flew around the world twice for the damn land of the damn thing.
Yeah.
Then the first couple, they wouldn't even let anybody around them. They were so hot. But I noticed after that, though, they I don't know what they changed, but they were cooling off way faster.
Yeah, I think they corded off with about a 30-foot diameter because if you get too close, your clothes will burst into flame. That's how hot the space shuttle is after it lands. They have to replace the tires. And while it's sitting there, the tires melt away.
It's what's that, Jimmy? Eventually, they changed some stuff. There's something to do with the way or the new heating tiles or something they replaced them with. It didn't take as long to cool down as it used to. But still, they didn't do all the stuff like they did in the Apollo missions where they put them in the thing and put them in quarantine. They did all of that. They don't even quarantine astronauts anymore. Oh, we go to Mars, there'll probably be a quarantine.
I think the difference between the space shuttle pilots and astronauts and the moon shuttle and the moon pilots is that the moon pilots actually left the spacecraft to a different environment. They were on the moon. That's why they were cordoned off. The space shuttle pilots, not so much. They were just in outer space, less likely to pick up, traveling, viruses.
Now we learned that things live in space, and
yes,
people. That was to me. Look, I was always taught nothing can live in space, and then we find out not only things can live in space, but even stuff that's from our planet can live in space.
Yeah, like what are those things? Not telomeres. They're the water thingies, microscopic.
They found 2 different types of bugs and 1 type of fungus on the space on the space station, outside growing on the space station. Yes, and it's in space, and it's not exactly a close orbit. It's a little bit out there.
Yeah,
it's I don't know, people.
Hey Google, how far away is the International Space Station from Earth?
The altitude of the International Space Station is 254 miles.
It's out there.
That's pretty significantly far away from the planet. Yeah,
it's what it's about 5
Google,
times what Jeff.
If I was to drive 255 miles, how long will it take me by car?
With light traffic, it will take you 10 hours to drive to Michigan.
That's a 10-hour drive. That's a 10-hour drive.
I didn't understand.
Hey Google, quiet.
It's
They are 10 hours away from. So if something really messed up happens up there, they're 10 hours away from any kind of help, minimum.
Yeah.
Either they have a shuttle on the launch pad ready to go right now. It'll take them 10 hours to fly there.
Thanks to Eli, they'll get there in about 2. But
yeah,
it's
and return in about 6 months.
Well, Frank, a lot of people said they thought that the Ketzberg thing was some type of spy probe that the Russians lost control of while spying on the United States. Yeah, because it wasn't shaped of any type of probes that we had. And even today, when you go back and look in the past, you don't see any acorn-shaped probes.
And some of the symbols that are written on it seem to be paralleled with the Russian language Cyrillic.
Yeah, well, the very first time I heard about Ketzberg, they said it was bell-shaped.
Yes.
And then I started seeing pictures which suggested it was acorn-shaped.
Yes. Both are accurate. Both are accurate. Either one could, underneath the tarp, an acorn could look like a bell, and vice versa.
we don't really know because it wasn't really. There are a couple of pictures floating around that they say that's what it is, but there's no way to really verify the picture.
And well,
itself.
one thing that is consistent throughout the Kecksburg experience is that all the eyewitnesses that saw the trucks leaving said that there was something under the tarp the size of about a Volkswagen Beetle. So it wasn't, whatever it was, wasn't extremely large, but it also wasn't very light. They had to carry it away on a flatbed 53-foot trailer.
We'll never know. If it was one of ours by now, we should know about it. But since we don't, it's.
If it was one of theirs, we wouldn't necessarily need a crane to pick it up.
Michael, do you realize that we have secrets kept from when this country was founded that still have not been made classified? I mean, unclassified. And do you know that's completely and wholly illegal in this country? Everything is supposed to be declassified within 75 years of its classification, unless it's been reclassified, and then they're actually supposed to make the reason known.
Yeah.
Well, they can't tell you what it is. But
they did that with the JFK stuff. They had no choice. It was going to come out, and they kiboshed that, and now it's not coming out until 2032. And then
well,
Trump,
no, they let out.
Trump had them dump a bunch of stuff, but not everything.
No, it was like 95,000 documents or something. Oh, people, that
a lot of
sounds
stuff,
like a
but
lot.
it's not all of it.
But I would imagine Garrett's office alone had more documents than that. There was just a lot that went on in these cases. Everybody was looking for the killer, just like everybody's looking to kill us today. You know, AI video is getting a little irritating now.
Yes, it is.
It's what's that? Can't talk about that here, but you're going to ask me that on Friday night. That's a good topic for Friday night. Presidents flying jet planes around loaded down. You can ask me about that on Friday night. I'm sorry, it's not here. Well, we talked about Betty and Barney Hill last week, and Betty and Barney Hill is interesting, but not Oh, you're talking about well, I can't remember their names now. The Wilson brothers, Weiner brothers. I can't. It's on the tip of my brain, but there was a couple of cases like that where there was 3 or 4 people. Like it was a Dallagash case when they were in the canoe and stuff, and they picked them all up and took them. Well, they don't take you.
I forget. What about the family that was attacked by dwarfish green aliens? That when they shot them with their shotguns, they would pop and disappear and then reappear, and they'd shoot them again.
No shit, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Philip, some of the cases today, I just kind of look at like they're garbage, and there's not much in the way of new alien abduction cases. Type in and tell me what you find. Just type in new UFO cases, new alien abduction cases, and see what comes up. Well, nobody ever talks about Whitley Strieber's case.
Yeah, his case is kind of scary too.
Oh, let's see. I might have to get involved on this. What is this? Roughly 100 alien abductions spanning over 30 years, set to be investigated by scientists with hopes of unraveling the mysterious experience.
Wow,
you don't talk to me, you can't do it. Yeah. I got things they're gonna have to have, and they ain't gonna get to the experience, and then they're gonna get criticized. What do you mean, Jack? Well, because I've been doing this a long time, 41 years, and that's what we specialize in, alien abductions. I mean, we've got 134,000 cases on file. God knows what it took to get to that. I guarantee you, it's at least 500,000 cases. That's worldwide. There's not that many in the United States. Now, I actually had wrote to this guest the other day, so I haven't checked my email today, but this is the Pascagoula abduction. I remember I was just a kid when this happened. And I believe it was 73? Charles Hickson, Calvin Parker. I believe Charlie's gone now. I'm pretty sure Calvin's still.
That's one of the 2 guys were fishing on the pier at like midnight. Yeah,
they were out there fishing. I know right where the spot's at. I've been there. Pascagoula is not even that far from where I live. It's 40 minutes, maybe, probably 30 minutes if you take interstate.
Oh.
So you can go and check it out if you want. So, but I mean, like I said, Pascagoula's down there, but there's a lot of UFO sightings around here and there and other places. The Gulf Coast has always been a mecca of UFO sightings. Speaking of that, today I noticed what looked to be 2 F-15 Eagles flying over my house.
Oh wow.
Well, when we're at war or preparing to go to war, all of a sudden you'll start seeing a lot of helicopters and a lot of jets in the air here. Well, we've always seen a lot of helicopters because between NASA, the CB base, Eglin Air Force Base, and there's some other base over there, there's always somebody flying helicopters. So it's not that big of a deal. But fighters, we rarely see, because usually when they leave out of Eglin, they shoot, out of Keesler, they shoot straight out over the Gulf and go straight out and you get up to speed, get high before, because they're so effing loud.
Yeah.
People, if you ever hear F-15, even at 200 feet above you or even 2,000 feet above you, it will rattle the crap off your walls. If it comes in below 200 feet, it's going to knock everything in your house off the walls, probably off the tables as well. God help you if you stand in it, probably knocks you down. It's a serious amount of power that comes out of those. But getting back to the Pascagoula case, it was a weird case because, it was all over the place. And when I first got involved in looking at it, and I started looking at the type of alien it was, I was like, what the hell is this thing? And the more I looked at it, the more I thought maybe it's some type of Robbie the Robot kind of deal. It was just kind of weird. It looked like something you would see at a 1950 sci-fi to me as well. It always bothered me. What's that, June? You know what? I'll put a picture up. Hold on. I think I'm on the right one to put a picture up. Give me a second. Yeah. What's always bothering, because it did kind of look. Oh man, I just get crazy around here sometimes. It really does get intense. During when we went to Desert Storm, all of a sudden they were just going and coming, big C-130s flying. Whoa, and I lived right on the beach then. Right now I live on the bayou about 150 yards from the beach, and there's kind of a little break between the trees. But there, I was on like 4 miles from the base, and my condo was on the beach. So it was just, it rattled every time they took off. It was rattling the windows in your house. It was ridiculous. And they were dogfighting. That's the best part. You could sit out on the porch and watch them dogfight.
Wow. Well, that's not surprising. Oh yeah. Okay.
Now that's the one the Pascagoula guy said they saw. Now, what does that look like to you, Jay? It looks like a freaking robot or something.
Well, hang on a second. No, I'll tell you. Let me find the picture. I'll show you what it looks like.
Well, that's up there. It's on the board. I put it up there.
No, I got something better.
Because that's the one what they give the description of. I even think that's the original one done for television back in the day.
I got a bunch of silly ones here.
But that's what Charles Hicks and Calvin Parker said they saw. I don't know. I'm telling you, it looks like something out of 1950 sci-fi. That's what it looks like. I've even seen something close to that in 1950 sci-fi. An alien that was walking off a ship. What's it, Pete? Looks like an alien mummy. I don't know. Well, I just blew it up on my screen so I could see it better, but it definitely looks like a robot. Well, it could be a being in a suit. It's obviously wearing something. So, is that how it's head shaped, or is that just a helmet or something? That's strange. Hey, Christy. It does look like the Swamp Thing. Well, was that Christopher? Oh, no, that's Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker. This is what they said they saw while when they got taken in Pascagoula. No, they were abducted. They were taken on board the ship. Yeah, they were taken on board the ship. So it wasn't like no, they were on board, and they were both polygraphed too. Betty and Barney Hill's always going to be the number one first abductions. Oh, where'd this statue come from? Yeah, boy, and people just try to rewrite these cases all they can. Okay, they're showing naked people here. There's Calvin Parker. There he is. And see, they're showing what you would be considered. Oh, yeah, that. Oh, this thing's got a face on it, huh? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Remove. Add. No, I don't want to add that stupid thing. Get off there. It's not what I want to add. Share. So this is what their original, when they drew.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this picture. There's a picture of an alien that looks exactly like that in a silver suit, but it's an actual photograph. And I thought it was attached to the Line of Zamora case, but it's not. I'm not finding it, but I'm continuing to look.
Yeah. That's Charles Hickson on top, Calvin Parker on bottom. Whoever asked it. That's the UFO they describe. It looks like a saucer. Typical hump saucer. And this thing, I guess that's a mouth and 2 eyes and 2 weird ears and a nose. Is that what the hell that is? Weird kind of hand and fingerprint like a claw. I don't know, Jackie. That's what I'm saying. But this is what they saw, made a big deal. And then eventually they ended up polygraphing them because nobody would, take them serious at all. They said it happened late at night on the Pascagoula River. I've been fishing on that river more than once. And it's, is it for real? They swore it was, and they passed the polygraph, but does that still mean it was for real? Your guess is as good as mine. I talked to Charlie a long time ago at a convention right here in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we had a nice long chat, and he gave me he was writing a book, and he gave me the first draft of it to read. It was very interesting. As far as I know, it never got published, or if it had, I hadn't seen it. And then I had met Calvin Parker when he came out of the loony bin. He didn't want to do interviews, and then I ran into him somewhere locally, and we got to talking. And he said he listens to me. He listens to UFO Undercover. He was a regular listener. Yeah, well, you know. You mean, what are you talking about? Cases? You mean ranking cases for their importance to what? Ufology? To us? I don't understand what you mean. There's no abduction cases is really more important than the other one. They're usually different in most ways. There's some basic things that go on alien abductions, but there's also a lot of stuff that's different. And then you have to remember, a lot of what goes on in alien abduction, it comes from the eye of the beholder. And we don't all see things the same way. What's that, Jesse?
Well,
Jesse says you're looking for the Silver Surfer. No, he's not looking for the
No, well, there's a picture of an alleged alien in a silver.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Silver firefighter suits, but it's like a spacesuit, I guess. But it's got a long nose and pointy ears, just like that picture that they both.
Yeah, there's a movie from the 1950s with an alien. It's an alien in a silver suit. Exactly, it's exactly the same. It's why I said it always reminds me of a 1950s, an old movie too. I mean, it's something I remember seeing as a kid, and it was already old when I seen it.
I don't think this picture's from a movie, but it's.
No, I don't know if that's the same picture. I don't even know if it's the same picture or not.
I can't find it, and I've been looking.
But I know we were watching that old movie set came on the other day at the house, and one of the aliens looked just like that. Well, I don't know. It's just something about the case bothered me. I don't know if they were lying or not. I've never had a long enough interview with them to make my mind up. I've talked to them a couple times, but I've never had a long enough interview to make my mind up. You mean Rendlesham? That's a whole different thing now.
An entire forest.
Larry Warren, I know pretty well. I've been talking to him on and off for 2 decades. Yeah, I know him pretty well. He's been on my show many, many times, and he's been on Christina George's show many times. And his movie Capo Green's out, so you can go learn more about Rendlesham. What I never understood about Rendlesham is why Colonel Halt was so hum drum. You know, why he never wanted to talk about anything. Why he didn't take a polygraph. Well, for that matter, I never understood why James Burrow and Jim Penniston didn't want to take a polygraph either. First thing I'll tell you, when somebody says, if I had an experience like this, the first thing I say, let me take the polygraph. Let me take the voice stress and the polygraph. Let's do some facial recognition body language as well. Because it puts people's minds at ease when they start hearing stories that they can't really rectify. Yeah, that's why when I go to do testimony, I always say, make sure we have a polygrapher. And with these guys, I mean, they said it was floating over. I mean, it was typical alien abduction kind of stuff, the way they say it went down and all, but no, because of these guys in some other case, the government decided to release these clouds, and they were pink colored and green colored and blue colored. And they released them all over the country to see if they could attract UFOs. I remember sitting outside my backyard. I was what, 10 or something, and 8 or something, watching these clouds go over the house. It was really weird. Yeah, I think I was 8 actually. 51. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'll go for 51. Shit, yeah. The hills are, I've said this 100 times. I've always thought Barney was the abductee. I didn't think Betty was. Not to hate on Betty. I liked Betty. I talked to her.
There it is.
Times.
Ha.
Jay finally found. Jay's been stuck. Yes, he was in a feedback loop. Yes, that's what you call that. He was stuck in a feedback loop.
All right. So,
but while he's putting that up, one of the reasons I was worried about the Parker case is because I had remembered seeing that particular alien in a sci-fi movie from the 50s.
And guess where this one is? Falkville, Alabama. I don't know if I can make it any bigger, but in October 1973, a police officer in Falkville, Alabama, captured a mysterious image of an alien on a highway. This photograph taken in 1973 shows an unidentified being believed to be extraterrestrial in nature. The bizarre encounter with the alien has become a famous sighting in the state of Alabama. The image depicts the otherworldly figure standing on the side of the road, creating a fascinating and eerie scene that has intrigued many. The unique photograph provides a glimpse into the realm of the unknown and continues to spark curiosity and speculation about the existence of life beyond our planet. But you see what it looks like.
I would say that's aluminum foil, man.
Well, it looks like a firefighter's outfit, A, B, and C. It also looks identical to what those gentlemen drew and what the artist rendering of what those gentlemen drew was. It's almost identical.
What's that, Kirk? Well, I ain't gonna look for it tonight, but I'll look around next time I see it. I got a whole section of old sci-fis that are from the 40s and 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Even some of the early 60s. No, I'll leave them up there. Not so much to watch, just to because every now and then I see something that comes out of one of those. You're talking about, okay, you mean the robot from Lost in Space? It's not the same robot now.
Yeah, no. So the robot from Lost in Space is called B9, and the robot from Forbidden Planet is Robbie.
And Robbie rolls and B9 walks.
Yeah. No.
Or is it backwards?
Robbie walks
right.
and B9 rolls. B9 rolls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The one from Lost in Space does roll. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, one rolls, one walks. That's how you can always tell the difference. Well, they don't.
Hang on a second.
The top of them look alike. The rest of them, not so much.
Hang on. We'll do it right now. I'll get a picture.
Yeah. No, the top of them does that. Wait. Hold on. Let me see if I can get one. Wrong phone.
Okay.
Wrong phone. What's that, Jesse? Yeah, I fight with people on the internet all the time.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the difference between Robbie and B9. So, on the left, the black one is Robbie the robot. He has legs. He walks. On the right is the silver one, is B9 from Lost in Space, and he rolls. Both were operated by midgets.
Live long and prosper, people. Yeah. Well, no, the one that walks is from the Forbidden Planet, and the other one is from Lost in Space.
TV Lost in Space. Danger Will Robinson. That's the silver one.
Yeah.
So if y'all can see, where is it? Damn it. There it is. This is B9, the one I'm circling with the mouse. He's from Lost in Space. And this one is Robbie the Robot. Now, allegedly, there was a midget inside of here who operated the arms and walked on like these stilt-like legs. But I know for a fact there was a midget inside of here which operated these arms.
No, Christopher. It was back in the day. Now all that shit would be robotics.
Yeah.
That's
very cool stuff from a long bygone era.
Well, I mean, from back in the day, that was beastified sci-fi, my friend.
Oh yeah, it was the B9 robot and Robbie the Robot were some really. I mean, they were built in the 50s.
No, really. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, Forbidden Planet for the day was badass. Well, for
you
the
watch
day,
Forbidden Planet, you'll notice almost all of the sound effects were recycled on a different future television show.
Yes, they did a lot of that back in the day. Yeah, they did. What's that one? Beyond the Stars. All of it's
produced. Forbidden Planet is produced and distributed by Paramount. Hint, hint, hint. Clue, clue, clue. Wink, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, but did Paramount even exist back then?
Oh yeah.
Pretty long time ago, man. What, 80 years ago?
Hey Google, how long has Paramount Pictures been around?
The 8th of May, 1912.
Oh, they've been around 100 years, yeah.
Been around a while.
Yeah, 113 years, sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, Jesse? Well, there's no. You mean in 1912? I doubt they were talkies. They were probably black and white.
We didn't get talkies till the late 20s.
And even then, they weren't true talkies.
They
had theaters. Okay.
The first attempt at synchronized sound was done in 1927, and all they synchronized was the background score. So all the talking parts were still. They had title cards that would come up when someone would speak. There'd be a pause, and a title card would say what they speak, and then you see the person's reaction. Who then they would speak, and then that's how they did. The actual synchronized first talkie was not, I think in May or June of 1929. And that's when they first attempted to do both the background sound and sound effects and the people talking. But it didn't work all that well, but they tried.
Well, there was a couple of movie theaters that decided that there was even a couple of movies made special for it. They had players. So there was somebody in the theater reading.
But so they did that too.
Actually, it was 2 or 3 people reading. There was a script.
There was almost always an organist that played live music.
Yeah, there was an organist there. Yeah,
and then during certain things, like sometimes during the news, they'd have like in the newsreels, depending on the theater and where you were in America, and during the World War II, they'd have a gentleman who would read the title cards off of the movie while they were watching, reels and news.
Yeah, and then there was stuff made for just that, and then we were already doing it on radio. Jeffrey, what are you talking about? Yeah, I mean we had been doing radio, radio shows, not TV shows, but radio shows for a long time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big leap if you're in a studio. I mean, if you're in a theater and you've already got the script, as far as you know, somebody could have even made one. You'd have just had to sync it to the thing. So that was pretty easy. But doing what Jay was just talking about, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Trust even today, even with good editing software today, syncing stuff to is not as easy as you think it is. It can be quite a pain in the ass sometimes.
If you watch a lot of streaming stuff, sometimes you'll see that the sound is out of sync from the actual.
No, you see that a lot these days. You didn't see that as much in the old days. You see it way more now. Oh man, I'll be watching like Netflix or something, Hulu, and it'll be out of sync. It probably has more to do with their equipment than the actual movie.
The internet can be a part of that too. So I mean, it has its quirks. But with an actual film, trying to you'd have to watch the film every day and be an actor in that theater every day to sound sync and read the script to the movie. And then you'd have to make it loud enough so everyone in the theater can hear you too. They didn't have microphones and stuff in all those theaters. So.
Yeah, you can use one of those bullhorns that weren't actually a real bullhorn. It was just a cone.
like a megaphone.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it looked like somebody took a fucking one of those cones, highway cones, and cut the top off.
Mhm. Yeah, they call it
Can you
megaphone.
hear that?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? You don't remember when you're a kid taking 2 cans and putting a string to them and talking through them? You didn't do
Yeah.
that when you was a kid? Yeah. You must be one of them fucking Z Jenners. I mean, beep, 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 one of them nice people. One of them Z Jenners. Now I have to go edit this. I can't have F words in this show. It's PG-13 related. Yes, so I can't have F words. It happens sometimes. Not often, but it does happen sometimes. Well, I'm used to cursing on Saturday night, so my sailors, let the sailor out in me. I don't, I didn't really look at his case all that much, Antonio. Now, I remember the Air Force guy I had met. I'd have to go find his name. His name was also Antonio. I can't remember his last name though, but he'd been on the show a couple times. He was involved when aliens supposedly attacked an Air Force base on more than one occasion. There's 4 or 5 reports of this from different bases where they were all Air Force bases, by the way. They weren't Navy bases or Army bases or Marine bases. They were all Air Force bases, which I have no idea why. No, they said they were attacked. There were actually people killed. They came on the show and talked about it. He even brought a couple of witnesses a couple times to talk about it, what had happened. There's a fairly famous case, but it never took off because most cases just don't have the oomph to take off. If it wouldn't have been for Fire in the Sky, we wouldn't even be talking about Travis Walton. And for as far as Betty and Barney Hill goes, it was just because of all the free press they got in the beginning. And a lot of that didn't have anything to do with the case. It had to do with who they were. It's what do you mean they were the first abduction case? No, they were not. Not even close.
They were the first widely reported UFO abduction case. What made them more interesting than any other case was that they were a biracial couple in the middle of an extremely bifurcated racial turbulence of the 60s.
I don't know, was it 63 or 65
61
or
that they were
something?
abducted. Yeah, 61.
Yeah,
And he dies in 68, I think.
Yeah, he was. Well, he had always had mental issues. So, well, this abduction stuff is probably something he'd been dealing with his whole life. That's why he had so many military friends. As far as I know, he never served. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but I'm pretty sure I've even looked it up before. I don't know. Is Siri around here? Hey, Siri, where you at? I guess she's not in here. I could have sworn I brought in here, wouldn't you? Oh, look, I don't want to talk to Alexa anymore, whoever wrote that. No, Alexa's lost its mind since they updated it. It's flirty and stuff. It's crazy. Yes, and it wants to listen to you for much longer than it used to. It's a weird thing. Travis, I have talked to Travis a dozen or so times. I like Travis. He's a nice guy. He wasn't ready for me in the interview because, I asked him stuff he had never been asked before. I went out of my way to make sure I asked him questions he had never been asked before. And I talked about things he had never talked about before. That's why I found the interview as fascinating as it was. That's a good question, Janie, but no one really knows. Hold on a second. Yeah. Let's see. Are you talking about? You could look him up on Wikipedia. I'm sure he's on Wikipedia. There's a couple places. The Hills case is a very famous case, so you can definitely find it pretty easy. Oh, look at that! They had a wiener dog. So Barney Hill Jr., July 20th, 1922 is when he was born, Newport News, Virginia. Eunice Elizabeth Barrett, June 28th, 1919, was born in Newton, New Hampshire. Barney died in 1969 at age 46. Betty died in 2004 at age 85.
Yeah, she lingered on a while.
Yeah, I talked to her a few years before that. Occupation, postal worker, civil rights activist.
And that's probably why we speculate why he and Betty were invited to the White House, where I believe they met 61. They would have met John F. Kennedy.
Let's see. Yeah, Kennedy would have been president because he died in 63. No, it doesn't say anything about military, sir. I didn't think he had served in the military. I thought
he did. It was the Postal Service, which is sort of paramilitary, but not really.
No, but the reason it always bothered me was because he was friends with 3 colonels and he had no service time at all. That just doesn't even happen.
One of
he
them
was a
colonels
postal worker. So where did he meet these colonels at as a postal worker?
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey, colonels are in the military. It takes 20 years to make a colonel. Unless you're really good, you might do it in 15, but you've been in the military at least that long, as an officer, no less, to be a full bird colonel. And full bird colonel is one step out of a general. These are the Navy equivalent to a colonel is a captain. We don't have that. Some people say it's a commodore, but because captains can be governors. Captains in the Navy have much more power than they do in any other branch. Because we don't have a colonel. We did away with that rank. Navy just goes from captain to admiral. Well, commodore to admiral, but the commodore is an admiral anyway. So don't ask me. I don't make these things. I'm not the one who set it up the ranks way back in the day. But anyway, for a civilian to know a colonel is one thing. To know 3 of them, one who's living with him, 2 that he's very good friends with near the base. He had a regular psychologist. More than likely, that's how the military found out about him.
Yeah,
through a psychologist. He'd been seeing a psychologist since he was a kid.
Well, and he was also he and Betty were the guy before John Mack. Jeez, I just lost his name. It's not Simpson.
What, Simons?
Yes, Dr. Simons.
Yeah,
he was their golden child, Dr. Simons' golden child. That was what Barney was. And then when he either got ill and died or stepped down, John E. Mack took over, and then was still the hills were the pinnacle. They're not the pinnacle, but the beginning of his lifelong work. And John Mack is now no longer with us, but he came in as a debunker, not a non-believer, and came out the other end. He's like, it's an actual phenomenon. It's whatever these people are having to them. It's for real. It's not a hallucination.
I was at a conference about 8 months ago, and somebody asked me, what did he contribute? What was his caseload contribute? I said, really and truly, he didn't contribute what you think he did. He contributed the fact that he was a PhD professor, tenured PhD professor, who was willing to say that alien abduction was more than likely real. I said, that's what he contributed. I said, as far as evidence, he hadn't contributed anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I said, people get confused about Mac. Well, I knew his girl. I knew his friend, Peola Harris. Peola had a lot of respect for her. Yes, you can call her Paula if you want to, but her name is Peola Harris. Yes, it's how it's pronounced in Italy. Yeah. Well, she was actually my translator for Monsignor Balducci. Yeah, I met him in D.C. in 2009, I believe. Yeah, I've hobnobbed with some pretty big names, if that's what you're asking. I've met some really big people in not in ufology. Well, I know everybody in ufology world, but that's not what I mean. I meant in the real world of the government, politics, and military and stuff like that. Was Cora told me when I was giving testimony. As far as she knows, she's the only witness she had that actually had a PhD. I mean, not a PhD, I'm sorry. A pedigree to look into this stuff. She said everybody else they had talked to were this, that, or the other thing had nothing related to do with aerospace or space or aircraft or ignoring someone's line or telling the truth. You know, most people come on like, there's a couple of famous ufologists. I think one's an English lit teacher. One's well, they have PhDs, but just not in anything that would contribute to ufology. You can write all you want, but what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
there really are no doctoral courses on alien
Fred,
technology.
I have not talked to you. Talk about Richard Dolan. I haven't talked to Richard Dolan in over a decade. That's another one. I can't think of anything he really contributed to ufology other than making money off of it. He made money off it. Don't let him bullshit you. He was I think he was an English teacher as well, or a history teacher. I think is what he was at America College, I believe. And I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I talked to him, but nothing he did in his life before ufology made him ready for ufology. And you could tell yourself he's a historian, not a ufologist. Well, he let it get into his ego later on in life. That's why he did stuff like that. Yeah. He did leave his wife for a younger woman. Yes. Yeah, he did. Yeah. What do you mean I don't like him? I have nothing pro or against Richard. He's never been disrespectful to me. Once or twice he's tried to argue with me when I wasn't there, and he got his ass tore up by one of my followers. But, you know, other than that. Well, because people don't like to see. I'm not like that. If I feel a need to confront you, I'm gonna confront you right then and there, right in front of everybody. I mean, I got into it with David Jacobs and Bud Hopkins in the middle of the in the middle of the book room at Laughlin, Nevada. At Laughlin, Nevada's alien abduction conference, a 7-day long what it used to be. And they were in there, and I had a bone to pick with David about some stupid shit he had said. And I said, him and I were going back and forth when Bud decided to chime in. And then the three of us were going back and forth. And before any of the three of us noticed everyone had stopped moving and were just listening. I mean, everybody stopped moving. The whole place was like dead still. And I remember Linda tugging on me, we need to leave because we're keeping these people from making money. Well, the conversation was heated, but it wasn't a mean conversation. It wasn't mean spirited. It was a serious conversation about alien abductions and what goes on and what should be considered real and what shouldn't be. I mean, it was seriously in-depth conversation. So if you actually got to hear it, you couldn't have paid money to hear that kind. None of the three of us had ever talked about it in public before. None of the three of us had. Not the stuff we were talking about that particular day. Well, for me, it was just because I was fairly new to the field at the time, like maybe 5 or 8 years, maybe 10. It was just more about letting people know who I was, letting them know who I was. David and I never had any big fights. The only really problem David and I had is somehow another acronym when both of our organizations came out to ICAR. Shit happens sometimes. It just does. So, and for me, and I've converted a lot of people in the Hills case over the years. For me, the abduction happened. The main abduction they're talking about, the one that supposedly happened in the United States, was a military abduction. The abduction was actually in Canada on that particular time. The one that's famous, that's what actually went on. It was a military abduction, not an abduction. And it wasn't even hard to prove. Well, because I had always heard all this shit about the case. And then one day I decided to sit down and listen to a 1965 radio. They were a guest. And I'm listening to it going, well, wait a minute. Barney's saying shit I ain't never heard before. So I started looking for other places they had been on and started finding stuff and listening to them. And I realized that this was a military abduction that happened inside the United States. They knew they were taken in Canada. They'd been watching them since they were leaving Canada and, kind of guided them to where they were. And then they picked them up. Well, Jesse pulled down maps, flopping doors, swinging doors, razor blades, needles. None of that's alien abduction stuff. Cars being stopped, people in black outfits, when somebody tells you black boots, black pants, black duck-billed hat, black shirt, you think of DEA or some agency some 4-letter,
Alphabet
3-letter,
soup
yeah,
coming to get you.
some agency. That's all you think of. God knows what agency, but back then I couldn't even tell you what it was. It doesn't even probably exist. It's probably something else now. Rubio's probably running because he's running every other agency. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Friday too. Yeah. Rubio's like the dude, man. He does as much work as Trump does. You mean little hands, right? Yeah. How he don't slap Trump sometimes is beyond me. But we'll talk about it Friday. But in Travis's case, Travis, you could tell that this was something that hit Travis in a way he just was not prepared for in any form. And even here, even all these years later, because it was 76, I think, when his case happened, somewhere back
something like that.
And so it's been a long time. He still has a hard time with it. And then when I tell him stuff like, well, there's no such thing as a one-time abduction, that just rattles him.
Yeah,
and when I told him there was somebody else on the mountain that night, a CIA agent, that rattled me. And then when I stopped, right in the middle of the interview, I said, did you ever stop to think that they knew you were there? They were waiting for you?
Well, but the other thing is that the time frame, and that he was gone exactly 5 days he was missing.
Well, and that's another thing. Some say 7, some say 5. He actually corrected it on the show, Jay, but I don't remember.
I think it's 5. But
it is too, but it's been a long time.
It's at least 5, and the thing is that if he was abducted by aliens and they blipped him out of time, he wouldn't have grown a beard. But he's got 5 days at least minimum growed beard when they find him, and he's mostly unclothed. His clothes are ripped to shreds, but he's not naked in the movie. And he's out in the rain and like on the side of a gas station that's closed at like 4 a.m. calling for help. The fact that he has the 5 days growth and his clothes are ripped to shreds says that it's probably that part is MyLabs.
Yeah. Well, the fact that he's on the side of the road calling you from a phone suggests that it's MyLabs, because the aliens wouldn't have put him. They would have put him back. Either they would have put him back at his house, or they would have put him back where he took him.
He wouldn't have the 5 days of growth of beard on his face. He was abducted by the aliens in front of his friends, and they probably put him back there. And then those agents that were on the mountain scooped him up while he was still unconscious, and 5 days later dropped him on the street.
Well, what's funny is because back in the day, the aliens didn't pull you out of time, so you would have your growth would have still grew. You would have still been growing, even if you were going
before they realized their mistake.
Yeah, that was
get the growth anymore.
And that's thanks to us, or I should say, thanks to ufology. The investigators tripped them. They were like, "Wait a minute, these humans ain't quite as stupid as we thought they were." And even though they do think we're stupid, by the way, people, which is sometimes we surprise them every once in a while. But in his case, I mean, when I was talking to him, the way it sounded to me, and y'all can go listen, these archives are still available. There was 5 we did in 1 month. I did one. DeAndrew did one. Rest in peace. November Hansen did one. What's her name? I can't think of. Patrice Sheridan did one, and there was one other one that was done. And myself. They were great interviews. And we all got together before we did these interviews with him to make sure we were asking different stuff and taking it down a different path. A fabulous collection to listen to. And Travis is just impressed with everybody because he had never been treated like that before. When I talked to him the first time, I said, look, I'm not going to ask you anything you've been asked. He said, I said, trust me on this. He's like, why? I said, because I can hear it in your voice sometimes when people say, oh, and what happened on the mountain? And you're thinking, did you not read the book? Did you not listen to the million interviews I've done? I mean, really, ask him something about it. How did you feel? What was his emotion range? What did you think when the beam of light hit you and you looked over at your friends in the truck? Was there any thoughts at that? I mean, just stuff that no one's asked him before. Take your time, and it caught him off guard. You could tell it just did.
Yeah, I'd like to know what his reaction was when they told him he'd been missing for 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, I know. Well, I asked then I asked him about that, and that's when he corrected the time frame, and then we got in depth into some of the stuff. And I said, well, how long do you think you were on board the ship before you woke up? He said, it's hard to tell. He said it didn't feel like any time, but judging so he said they flew it. He was walking around the ship, by the way. He had woke up. I don't even think he was supposed to wake up. I think they were just going to keep him his food or something. And or experimental or something, because he said there was other things around him. But anyway, when they flew into a hangar, they brought him in there. The alien came and found him, walked him out to what he called like a table where there was two people sitting in white suits, not suits, but like C2C suits. And they spoke. They weren't telepathic. Sounds like he was handed off to the CDC.
By aliens.
And by the aliens. And this ain't the first handoff case we've had. This is just one
Wow.
we're talking about. But so every now and then,
It was like a quarterback sneak kind of deal. He was mylabbed by the aliens.
You know, whatever reason or however it happened, he was definitely handed off. And then, so we know that because they landed the ship in a hangar. And what he said is the hangar looked like any U.S. hangar anywhere in the United States. Had planes in it and stuff and helicopters. It just looked like any other hangar. But they had a table like them kind of fold out, you know, like you'd see in school.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there and they were talking to him and asking him questions. And he said that was the only people around. The alien left, went back to the ship. So, and then after that, there is no report. Sounds like they took him, drugged him up, did all sorts of experiments to him, and then dropped him off on the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah.
And said, here.
They
I'm
probably
pretty sure.
interviewed him with all kinds of nasty drugs until they found out what he did know or didn't know.
No, what he didn't know. And back then, ET wasn't all that great about deep hypnosis. They were putting cover memories in, but not, you know, nothing a good hypnosis couldn't get out.
Right.
It's what's that, Carly? The case was it was a tough case, but I mean everybody passed their polygraph except for the young guy, and he didn't fail. It was just inconclusive, but everybody else passed. So, and none of these guys had ever been polygraphed before. These were loggers. They didn't even know what a polygraph was.
No, but they all did it at the foreman's behest. Even the guy that you know came in, you know, funny. And then they asked him to do it again, only because of the one incoherency. And it's like, you got, you know, 5-6 dudes, so only one is incoherent or inconsistent. Test result, you know, I say you got a slam dunk case that would win any regular court case. And so
Raymond,
they
it didn't say lying. It said it was, he never said the young guy was lying. It said it was inconclusive.
Right,
inconclusive.
But
he was so
they
nervous.
were angry when they were asked to do it again because of the one inconclusive test. It's like, well, you got 5 that are not. So I mean, that's just still a slam bang case.
He was just, if you're nervous when you take a polygraph, it's not going to come out right. It's going to be all over.
Or scared or angry even. If you're even, and he was pissed off. So he would always, anytime they asked me,
if you want to pass a polygraph, take a Xanbar, take a volume, and go in and take it. Wait till it kicks in and then go in and take the polygraph. You'll pass. Because you're so relaxed that your body doesn't have enough time, that it doesn't respond real quick. I'm not going to tell you how I learned that. And there's actually a better drug than that, but I can't say it on air because I'll get in trouble. But
you just eat an Oreo cookie. Allegedly, the Oreo cookie filling negates polygraph tests.
Yeah. Oh, if you ever want to fail a drug test, just eat a poppy seed bun. Yes. You're guaranteed. Oh, you'll fail. Yeah.
Or bagel.
Anything with poppies on it, you'll fail.
Well, there was the young lady. She was like a lawyer's assistant at a lawyer's house or lawyer's firm. And, you know, every morning for breakfast, she had a poppy seed bagel with cream cheese. And
I like them poppy seeds.
She was going to get to like the bar, or so she was trying to get up in the company, you know, by entering the bar or whatever. And then they had to take a drug test on her, and it came back positive for heroin. She's like, "What? I've never touched this stuff. There must be something wrong." And they took it again, and she came back for heroin. And they're like, "Sorry, you're coming over. You can't take the bar exam, whatever the hell she was trying to get that she needed the drug test for." And finally, they figured out that she's eating these bagels. She stopped eating these, you know, cream cheese poppy seed bagels, and boom, she tested clean. That was the problem.
Yeah, it happens, people. Oh, I know. I've had friends get in trouble for it. Yeah.
Not anymore. This was years ago. They can get around that now.
Yeah.
They know the difference.
It's hard today to drug test people because marijuana is legal in 36 states now, or
27 states.
No, I thought it was in the 30s now with everything with
hey Google.
How
many states is marijuana recreational legal?
24 states.
24.
According to Wikipedia.
No, but that's not all the states. Medical marijuana is legal too.
It's illegal in 40 of 50 states for medical use and 24 states for recreational use.
48 states for recreation, or 48 states for medical. Hey, Google, how many states for medical use?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Hey, Google, how many states have legal medical use marijuana?
I don't know the answer to that specific question,
just
but
told me.
according to mjbizdaily.com, California was the first state to legalize medical marijuana in 1996. Since then, the medical use of cannabis has been legalized in 42 states and the District of
42
Columbia.
states.
42 legal states medically.
So
Wow.
we're going to talk about this on Friday, people, because our Congress still won't make this legal, but yet it's legal in 42 states. But that was what I was getting down to, because if you're, it's hard for companies just to ask you to take a drug test now, because if you've got a card, they can't ask you. Because you have a medical card says, I can do this.
They can still drug test you. They just don't drug test you for that. Like with the forklift equipment at where I was working, if you had an accident that required a drug test, they drug tested you. And if you came back for anything like alcohol, heroin, cocaine, you'd lose the case. They'd fire you. But marijuana, they can't test you for.
Well, because marijuana stays in your system for 30 days.
Yeah.
Now, what they're trying to do now is do THC levels, but unfortunately, the court got in trouble there because they found out that, Mike over there, THC level at 5, he's like, but John over here, he could be at 75 and he's completely functional. So it's not like alcohol, people. Marijuana is much different. And if you're a chronic smoker, you've been smoking for 20, 25 years and you smoke an ounce or two a week, it's not going to affect you like it affects the average person. So it's hard to make a law for it. When is it that you're not? And now that it's recreational, a lot of places, when is it that you're illegal? So and marijuana has killed people now. It never killed anybody until it was made legal in Colorado. And I kept telling people, you keep doing edibles, you're going to start getting people killed. Now there's been 50, 80 people died because they fall asleep at 80 miles an hour and plow into a bunch of people and kill them because they're high on edibles.
Yeah, the edibles are harder to gauge. When you smoke, when it's starting to affect you, you can stop smoking. When you eat the edibles, you have to wait, and some people can't wait that long. They'll eat the edible and they're like 5 minutes goes by, like I don't feel anything, so take another one. It takes upwards of 30, 40 minutes for anything that you eat to reach any peak levels. So
it's funny. I seen what Heidi just wrote. So a couple of friends of mine, I always preach to people, look, be careful when you're smoking pot. It doesn't matter if it's legal in the state or not. If you're on federal land, you can still get in trouble for this. It's still a Schedule I drug. So some people I know were in Colorado, up at some national park, up there having a good old time, and they broke out some pot and they were smoking some weed, sitting on the side of the cliff looking over. Guy, game warden came up, a park ranger came up. So what are you doing? He told him, he said, put your hands behind your back, you're going to jail. And they're like, what? It's legal. He said, not in this park. It's not just this federal park. This is federal ground. You broke the law and you smoked a Schedule I drug. Minimum sentence, 5 years for 2 joints. And guess what? The judge didn't relent. He gave him 5 years. And a Fed president, you got to serve 80%. So that means they had to serve 3 years for smoking 2 joints in a federal penitentiary. They wouldn't give them probation. I don't know why. And they're not the only ones. There's been several people, lots of people who have gone to jail thinking that they're in a place. Just recently, there was a case in California at one of the big parks there. They had a big party going, and everybody was smoking pot. I think they said they had like 2.5 pounds all together. What's the Schedule I? And you had 2.5 pounds bagged up, ready to go. Everybody went.
You're a distributor. Yeah. In the state that it's legal, whether it's medical or recreational, number one, make sure you have your ID and your card on you, your medical card on you, but don't smoke in federal areas. And even on a state park, I wouldn't. Some state parks are also partially and or all together federally funded. So it could be Missouri State Park, but it's federal park rangers that patrol it and they enforce federal law. So if you're on a state park, you could be pushing boundaries. Your best bet is smoking legal marijuana is in your home on your property.
Yes. Sissy, what do you mean that they didn't tell you so they can't do that? No. Let me explain how the law works. Ignorance is no excuse to break the law. And it's the first thing a judge is going to tell you. Ignorance is no excuse to break the law. I've had one tell me that before. Oh, yes. They're not, they don't play with that shit. No, you should have known the law. You were there. You should always know the laws where you're at. That's like when I'm traveling with my gun.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I always check. It's one of the reasons I don't bring my gun, because they have a nine limit clip rule, and you can't just have 9 bullets. The clip can only hold 9 bullets. So I was going to bring my gun and just leave 9 bullets, and they say, "Oh no, you have clip." I don't even think they make a clip for my gun that only holds 9 bullets. I'm gonna have to have a special order to do that. It's when I looked at Canning, they said they didn't make them that small.
Huh.
Said the gun wasn't designed to operate like that. I was like, it came with a 20 round clip, and a 31 round only sticks out the bottom of the gun this much.
Carry 9 bullets? That's ridiculous, because my Steyr carries 12 or 10.
That's what I'm saying. They only and you can. What you mean? I don't even know if you can have a chambered round in California. You do know down here for a long time, it wasn't legal to have a round chambered. Yeah, you can go to jail for having it.
Pointless. Why carry it if you can't have a?
Because it takes all of a half a second to chamber around. But
yeah, but that half a second could be your ass.
But the problem with that, Janine, is revolvers aren't like. There's always one chambered. You can't unless you leave a bullet out. There's always one chambered. Automatics, you don't have to chamber around, but unfortunately, with a revolver, it's chambered. It's sitting there waiting for you to pull the trigger.
My Steyr holds exactly 10, 40 Smith and Wesson.
It's I
don't
know, Kirk. I would buy a 45. When somebody makes a 45 that holds more rounds, I'll probably buy one. I like the 1911, but they hold what, 12 rounds or 11 rounds? It's not a lot.
1911s hold 7 in 45.
Well, see, even less. So
8 if you round a chamber.
Jack says his holds 9. But look,
Steyr,
clips can be different.
You haven't seen my Steyr, have you?
Cutesy little baby. Look at that little toy. That's a toy, man. That ain't a real gun.
Oh, you'd be surprised how accurate it is.
You'd be lucky I don't have the real gun in here. I don't even have the toy gun here. Where is it? Oh, shit. Actually, Frank, you'd be surprised. A 380 can do some damage, but, when you look at a gun, people tell you, oh, buy a gun and do this, that, and other thing. Well, you're not going up to blow up shit with a gun. A gun's used, a pistol's used for protection. So almost any round will go through a human pretty easy. And anything that's a hollow point or a razor or anything along those lines will do a lot of damage.
We're invading.
Oh, we got to go. Yeah, it's 11, so it's out of realm time. Heidi, thanks for keeping us up.
Yeah,
no,
thanks,
guys,
Heidi.
we got to go. No, Michelle's on right now. She's probably just getting open, doing her open dialogue for a guest. I didn't see if Amelia was coming or not. Hopefully she is. I'm going to stop by later to see him later this evening. So y'all go by and say hi. Give him some love. Give her a big hug. Y'all should all go over and say, Joe said to come give you a big hug, Michelle.
Yeah, they're getting in trouble in the afterlife or somewhere. Something.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, guys and girls, we're going to do part 3 next week because we still got 1 UFO case and like 3 abduction cases we're going to talk about. And that's not even any stuff we've worked on or anything that's important. Probably we were going to do it now, but we're going to wait till the first of the year. But January, February, March, I want to do just alien abductees probably. So we'll put out a thing and we'll start bringing them in. We'll get everybody a network. So we'll bring them in. Sally, nice seeing you in the room. Heidi, nice seeing you guys and girls. We got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to UFO Undercover with Jay and I, Jay and Joe, Double J, and then we're going to be out of here. We'll be back Friday. Lots of stuff to talk about. Maybe even have a little food. I want to see Sally might want to cook something for us. I might make some stuffed shrimp Friday. Anyway, enough about that. We gotta go. Everybody, be sure to go check out Michelle DeRoche and Alan Rum. On that note, we're gonna go and thank everyone again for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. Until Friday, have some fun, enjoy your life, and we will see you then. Good night, everybody.